So today we are going to still continuing our rules and regulations while writing the Java classes, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
yesterday we have discussed different types of classes, right? And we discuss inner class, outer class, nested class, static nested class, local class, and last we discuss about this anonymous class, right? So yesterday I
Yeah.
say anonymous class is a kind of a inheritance relationship where we have at least one base class or superclass or one interface, and the implementation class or subclass you can use anonymous class, right? So let us example like class my interface. Okay, interface. In interface I have defined one method. Let's write void test. Okay, so this should be interface. Okay, when whenever you write a class, that means in this way this class is the not a complete, because you write a class and class maybe have only test method but no any definition or body, so compiler is not happy. So if this you want, that means you have to write the interface, right?
Right.
So interface by default this is the abstract method. So this means ki some new class or implementation class, a subclass going to give the logics of what the test means. Someone going to call the test. So what is the output, right?
Right.
So here how to give the definition of this test method. So till now we have a uh, you can say three approach where you can give the definition of test method. So if someone going to call test method, what is the output? Till now here I cannot say anything, right? Because there is no anyone can implement a test. Your code is compiled, your code can run, but you cannot call this test method, right? Because
Right.
till now there is no any business logic written ki when someone going to call the test method, what is the output?
Mhm.
Because till now have not defined, right? But our compiler is okay, code is compiled and run, there is no any problem. Till now I am not able to, because I know if let someone say, okay, I'm going to create interface, interface object, right? Object equal to new interface. Okay, so if let someone try to do this interface, right, and call this test method. Okay, so here notice when someone going to let's compiler allow to create the object of this interface and you can call the test method. So what is the output of test?
It's an error. Error.
Because till now there is no any definition, right?
That's
So
right.
compiler say ki I am not allowed to create the object of interface, right?
Right.
Because this test class is the abstract method. Test method is abstract. No one given the definition. The
Mhm.
first rule ki interface you cannot the create directly object. Why? Why not create? Because ki what is the definition of test method? I don't know. So if I allow to create the object and after that you can call test method, our JVM, what return output? They are confused. They have not written anything, right?
Mhm.
So due to that thumb rule, you cannot create the interface object. So next question, how will do? How can call this test method? How?
Create a class and implement this
Uh, uh,
interface.
this is the one way. I am going to create one class, uh, my interface implementation. Okay, and say implements interface, right?
Yeah.
Implement. Here I am going to say write the definition here. Say out test method is called, right?
Yeah.
Test method is called from implementation class. Okay, my interface implementation
Mm.
class, right? So now one option here, at least this is the abstract method. Now I have given the complete definition of your here. So now this is the not possible, but now I can write this again, and I say here I'm not going to call interface, but here I can pass my implementation class, right?
Correct.
Here. So now our compiler is happy and no, you can call the test method,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
What is missing? Okay. Notice by default here, whatever if not writing by default, this is the public, right? So you
Right.
must write here public while implementation, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Ensure that because here by default public, you are writing here default nothing means less accessibility. So here must be the public because you write are not write by default it is public. So your implementation class, this class by default not assume this is the public, right? You have to mention this is the public, right?
Yeah.
So now compiler is happy able to write. Okay, this is the one way to call your test method. Now your test method is called,
Yeah.
and any another way. This is the one way you can write class. And last class I can say you can use the concept of anonymous class, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here I can also call this here here. Let's what happened. I commented out. Okay, I commented out. Even I also don't. I commented out. Oh, okay, this is one way, right? Now I want to give the definition of test without writing the class, right? I don't want to write the class, but still I want to give the definition. Test method must be invoked, right? So what
Okay.
yesterday say we can write a anonymous class, right?
Mhm.
So here just I am going to not writing this class. I am not writing this class, but how I can give the definition where the test method, what is the output? So here say uh, don't write the new class, but just use the interface name itself. Here interface name itself, right? So whenever you write, compiler say that which you are going to create the object of interface, right? This is
Mhm.
not allowed, like the first number, right? This is not allowable. But here I am saying I'm not going to creating the interface, but I am going to give the test method definition. I am going to give the definition of this method, right? So look like here, whatever you did here, I am saying notice here, this is the already you did, right? These things.
Yeah.
So I am saying I am not going to this. Okay, I am not going to write. I am going to write anonymous class. Means I am going to notice here. Here this is the class name, right? This is the class exists, right? Which you're creating the object. But I'm saying in the next way I can going to create my object without class name. That means this class name not a going to create. So what you can copy this line, this is your actual definition, right? This is the class name. If I remove this class name, that means this is the part I needed. I just go and copy paste here, right?
Right.
So here say I am going to not write any class, but I am going to this part is the my class name that not required. I'm not using the class name. So just copy paste and paste here, just right. And
Okay.
now just do this way. So this is the also way. That means I am going to call this test method using the not class, is anonymous class. Notice here I'm not creating any new class. Okay,
No.
just commented. Okay,
Yeah.
there is a no any class, right? Commented. I'm not
Mhm.
creating any new class, right? Still I'm able to call this test method. Run this test method call. So this is the second way to implement any abstract method. This is a test method call from the abstract class, right? Anonymous class.
Mhm.
So here notice just I'm not writing this class name, just avoiding class name. But all these parts are the same I'm placing here where I'm going to create the new object, right? So here I'm not using the keyword like class name, right? These are missing. Notice these things I'm not doing, right? These things I'm not writing here. I'm not writing any class. I'm say just the test method what required.
Okay, so it looks little different. So
Yes.
all you are typing is interface thing, new my interface,
Hmm.
my my interface. That's the name of the interface, right?
Yes. Because here whenever going to create new say कि I need some name here, right? For which I'm going to create the object.
Mhm.
I'm say just let's my parent name, class name, whatever the interface, just create the object. But what the definition of this test method? I'm saying कि I given here itself to you. This is for you. So this is known as a anonymous class. The way is this thing started, I show you how to write anonymous class, right? Anonymous class, the just a implementation class or subclass. Notice this is the interface and this is the implementation class, right?
Yeah.
But the anonymous class is the place where you're writing the code at the same place you the creating the object as well as. Here you are creating the object. But here you create the class, but object later maybe I can create the object or you cannot create the object. Let's say I'm not interested to create the object, right? But still this class it exists. But here in the case of anonymous class, whenever you write an anonymous class, you must have to create the object at the same time. While creating object, you have to write the anonymous class. New and your class without his own name. There is no class keyword, no own name. But here syntax after new needs some class name or interface name. So what say you just use this left side your class name. Whatever my interface, you can use the my interface.
Okay, okay. So it's a name, but it doesn't mean that it's a new object of interface.
Yeah, that is not the meaning of new object interface. This is the meaning the new object of your implementation class. Like here, new object of your implementation class. This is the implementation class, right? They have
Yeah.
implemented this test abstract method. Similarly,
Right.
this is the one implementation class that implemented the test method.
And now after that, the next line,
Hmm.
you are able to access test
Yeah,
using
test.
that
Yeah,
my interface object.
right here. They can call. So notice the this is the one test call from the interface implementation class, one test method call from their anonymous. This is the right.
Hmm.
Now this is the two-way where you can give the definition of abstract method. This is abstract method. The one way inside a class, another way inside a anonymous class. And I'm going till now any confusion.
Okay, I got it now.
One more way where you can give the definition of test method. That is the lambda expression. Okay. So lambda expression is nothing, just the implementation of abstract method. So here what are we doing? Just I am copy and paste here. I am going to
Copy and
create
paste in another class, right?
I am two and object two. I am going to another object. So notice here by default the abstract logic is this. This is the code I want to implement. This is abstract method. The main intention we have to give the definition of test method.
Right.
So compiler say why need this interface name? Already here interface name. Why you cannot assume automatically this is interface name, right? So they can say just remove it. Just remove it. Okay. You will not need it. Okay. So if no class name, that means the no needed of new keyword. Okay. So here they also say that this is the unnecessary open and curly braces. Just remove it. Just remove it. Because to writing any method, we need the method name, return time, and open close curly brace, right? So there are some unnecessary things which here we are doing. Compiler say just remove those. Okay. And notice here, but here compiler is very unconfused. This test method where you writing, how to know what is the input or what is the output. So compiler say why need a public test, why you are writing this, why you are writing this test, because my no, this is the interface name, this interface name already you have defined, right?
Mm.
Even
Right.
this unnecessary things not needed, remove it. Okay, unnecessary thing is not needed, because this is the interface name. The interface name already we have a test one abstract method, right? So not needed anything, just remove this now. But this is the very code that really required the definition of test. Notice that this is the main logic of your test. This is the definition, right?
Yeah.
So what I am saying to Gay, whenever you are going to create the object here, what is the purpose here? Purpose my interface have a one abstract method. I want to give the definition. What is the logic of test, right? One way in the class, another way using the anonymous class, another way using the lambda expression. What lambda expression? Lambda expression say what the important thing here. Note, this is the class. What is the important? Important thing is this business logic, right? This is the important thing, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Might be this method takes some input parameter, right?
Mm.
Right.
Let's this take some input parameter test. Let's take 1x variable, right? So here important your input parameter, right?
Mm.
So let's here call some 100. Here let's, because I changed the syntax, right? Here I call
Mm.
and inside here I input x equal to plus x. Let me x equal to plus x, and right now. So till now, let's comment out. So till now, our intention is that our objective, this is the one abstract method. I want to give the definition, right? What is the test output, right? So sometime test output is 100, 200. Let's see this say multiply by 2. This return multiply by 2, right? Whatever the number
Mm.
pass. Let's keep
Mm.
this return multiply by 3, right? Okay, whatever the number pass, right? So this is
Right.
the till now what I did, we have a one abstract method, and this abstract method definition I can give in another class as an implementation class. Is it okay? Or we can give in the anonymous class. Is it okay? So this is the two way. Okay, but here compiler say lots of things is the extra which compiler automatic know why you are writing unnecessary things, right? So for that purpose, we are going to think what is the really important in our code. If someone going to write this test method, what is the important? Important is your input parameter and what is the definition, right? This is the important part. Really, this is the syntax: class name,
Mm.
implement my interface, right?
Mm.
Similarly, here in anonymous class, what is the important? Important part is the input parameter and the business logic, right?
All right.
So same thing, lambda expression say, let's I'm going to call my interface. Okay. So here, just this part is the lambda expression. This is the only part, right? This is the important. Just copy and just paste here, and this is your done. And now this is the object, and here you can dot test and pass. Let's key 100. Okay. And here you can let's key. I am giving the new definition is multiply by 4. So here compiler is a little bit confused. How I know which is the input, which is the output. So here one syntax say arrow. This is just. So this is known as a lambda expression.
Okay, okay.
So between this input and between this output, this is the input x, output is the your multiplied by 4, right? So and between this, now this is the lambda expression. So now notice we are this object 2 is given the now called the test method. The test method is called from the lambda expression. This is known as
And
a lambda.
when you type test, that 100
Yes,
is going on the
this x and
this.
x multiplied by 4 they return.
Oh, so this is how it's being used.
Yeah. So this is your lambda expression. So lambda expression say कि what is the really necessary to give the definition of abstract method. This is the one abstract method, right? Here I want to give the implementation detail. What is the meaning of? So I can, this is the input and this is the output. This is the very important thing, right?
Right.
So this is the even uh, you can write some concise format here. Even let's see. And okay, till now any confusion? What is the lambda expression? Lambda expression is just one way to give the definition of your abstract method.
Okay. So there are a few ways to give definition to abstract
Yes,
method.
yes.
So
The three
one
ways.
we covered,
One way
is for the class.
class,
Second we
way
covered
anonymous class.
anonymous class, and third
Third
one is
way
lambda.
is your
Lambda.
lambda expression.
Okay. Can we go through the lambda once again?
Yes, here.
Okay. Yeah. So you're saying equal sign and
So
int.
this is the my interface object I want create.
Yeah.
So interface you cannot create the object. Here interface you cannot create the object, but
Right.
interface say you can pass my implementation class. Why not create? Because my interface I want abstract method test. Who give the definition? Due to that, the compiler not allowed to create the interface object. So I can say, okay, compiler not allow. I'm going to create the class. I'm going to creating a class, and I will give the abstract method definition. Compiler say, okay, now you can create the implementation class object, and after that you can call the test method, right?
Right.
Similarly, in the case of it's the one way, but not the only list way. You can say, why need unnecessary this class name? Without class name, I can write this is the only very important part, right? So I can only paste this is the important part here. While the same time create the object not using the class name without class name. Here I am not using the class name, just without class name, just giving the definition of abstract method test, right? The second way using the anonymous class. So lambda expression say still why need the interface name? Why need the new keyword? Why need the public static? Why need the test? Because this interface already I am given my test method. The compiler know okay, this is the interface. They have a test method. Why are you writing this test again? The lambda expression okay, this is the really important thing. Only input and output, right?
Yeah.
Just this is the lambda expression and how demarcation input and output between the arrow. Between the arrow say this is the input and this is the output. So this is the input for which method? That is defined in the interface. Interface defined test. So this is your test method, you can say.
Oh, it's a test method. Okay.
Test method without name. Because need it. Because compiler say "Okay, already you have written here test name. And compiler know this is the interface. They have abstract method test. Why you are writing here test keyword? I know. Right? So this
Yeah.
is your lambda expression.
It's a little tricky.
Yeah, that is simple and tricky because you are listening first time. So it's tricky,
Yeah.
right? But look like this is the your implementation of this abstract method. Just
Mhm.
right till now is clear.
Yeah, it's clear now.
So even some concise format written here, compiler say कि something compiler automatic infer like here you write like even why need integer x int variable. I know कि this is the test method. I know कि already they accepting integer x, integer. So when you're writing type int, don't type it. Just do this, right?
Right.
So this is also acceptable. Okay.
Right.
And notice in this only one line of code. So this is the acceptable. It's your let's this is the test 3, right?
Right.
So unnecessary thing we can avoid here, remove, because the whenever you call test method, and whenever you call, you need the integer x. By default, they expect you are passing integer. So if let's say I pass float here something like, the compiler say unnecessary. Compiler know कि this is required integer. Why you are passing the double, right? So they know compiler के test method take integer. So this is by default assume it is an integer, right?
Hmm.
And one more concise thing you can do, like let's 4. Here say even this is the one line of code. If only one line of code, then you can avoid this curly braces, not needed, because we have only one line of code, right? So you write one
Right.
line.
Oh,
Fine.
that's right. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, right? No needed. If you have only one line, even you can remove the curly braces. It still work, right? Okay. And even compiler is so intelligent. So let's say, so now this is the your lambda expression. This is your lambda expression, right?
Right.
So this is the input and this is the output. So this is the complete your implementation of your test method, right? So how
Yeah.
compiler know if this is the implementation of my test? Because from the left hand side, from this is no, this is the interface. So this interface have a one test method. They are going to give the implementation. But lambda expression have a one limitation. Lambda expression is only work for one object method. If you write another abstract method like a test2, compiler is confused, right? Here compiler don't know I cannot give the definition of two abstract method here, right?
Yeah.
This thing not possible in lambda expression. This thing possible in anonymous class or subclass. Here you can go and give the definition of both, right? Here you can go and give the implementation class of another, right? Test, right? Now it's work fine, right?
Right.
Means any interface that have more than one abstract class, then lambda expression cannot work. Simple rule. Lambda expression cannot work for more than one object method,
Right.
right? Here we can implement. So anonymous class and both work, but lambda expression, this is not work in this case.
अच्छा
Notice? So lambda expression is only a special form, you can say. Okay. Sorry. So please note, any interface or any abstract class, if have more than one abstract method, then only two options you have, class or an anonymous class, right? But your interface have just only one abstract method, then lambda expressions can work. Is it okay? Any confusion?
Getting there.
So this is the differences between your lambda expression or anonymous or abstract class, right?
Hmm.
So lambda expression is used for a specific purpose. If any interface or any abstract class have only single abstract method, Only single abstract method, that definition can be given in a one liner in this way. This is the input and this is the output. Right?
Okay, so if any of the method has one abstract class,
then lambda expression can be the one way to implement this abstract method using the lambda expression.
right?
So this
So
is the
this is not logic. This is like you're showing three-way, like
Hmm.
how we
to
can
begin
write.
the definition of abstract method, right?
Yeah, okay, I got it. I got it.
One way, class, implementation class; another way,
Yeah,
anonymous class; another way,
anonymous
lambda.
lambda, lambda expression.
So lambda expression have a lots of other benefit. Whenever we are running this application for class or for an anonymous class, for both classes, the compiler generate complete class and take memory. But for
Mhm.
lambda expression, there is a no any kind of class things. There is a no any kind of object allocation happen. This is simple one method, right?
Right,
This is the very light implementation, you can say. They don't take any dot class. After compiling code, there is no any class file. Notice whenever any class, you compile one object file created, dot class file. But
right,
for lambda expression, there is no any class. Due to that sake, this is not a lambda class. This is just expression. Expression means once this they return some value, right? This is the
right.
input and this is the output. Okay, so this is the known as a one concept. Lambda expression is only work for functional interface. That means an interface have a single abstract method, right?
Yeah.
Lambda expression only work for single abstract method. Okay, if your interface have a only single abstract method, that it will work, else it will not work, right? For that, you can say key one annotation like here functional interface. You mentioned that. That means this interface is the any interface can be functional interface that have a single abstract method. If you write another abstract method, this compiler force you in this is the functional interface. You cannot define more than two interface, right? So if you want to some restriction, this interface is the used for the lambda expression, that means they can have only one abstract method. So how to enforce compiler? You can write this annotation, functional interface. Functional interface means this interface must have a only one abstract method. So you cannot write here two abstract method, right? If you uncomment this, compiler happy. Compiler happy, you can write the two interface. But lambda expression is not happy. Lambda is you cannot implement lambda, right?
Okay, so they need one.
Because this interface implemented by the lambda expression, how we guarantee that this interface has just only one abstract method? Because here we can give only one method definition. We cannot give the two abstract method definition, right?
Right,
Three abstract method definition. Because there is no any specific body, right?
right.
Here in this lambda expression, we just write this is the input and output. This is the one method, right? This is the logic. But so this is the new concept that you mark as a functional interface. That is compile time compiler say this interface is a not valid interface, because you say
Right.
this is a functional interface, you are defining the two in abstract method, compiler not allow. If you comment one abstract method, compiler happy, and your lambda expression also happy.
Hmm.
So this is the basic about the lambda expression. Lambda expression is nothing, just implementation of one abstract method.
Right.
Those abstract methods were defined whatever the left side here interface name like here test method. So this is the one abstract method. What is the definition? What is the input? This is the input. What is the output? This is the output. Right? So this is your lambda expression.
Right.
And this concept are heavily used in nowadays as a Java programming language.
Oh, so this is very popular. Then they use it heavily. It's heavily used.
Yes.
Okay. So
Right?
more practice on this.
More practice needed. But
Yeah.
this is simple. Uh, why? Because this is the very lightweight. Whenever we're creating right new class or interface anonymous class, they take complete class, they allocate memory, they store, right? But here just lightweight. What is the actual code? Good option. This code, this is the code. You can here there is look, there is no new keyword, no object, right?
Right. Right.
I am this interface name, and here I'm not creating any kind of new class name object. Notice no object. Still there is no object. Still I am able to call this instance method. This is the not static method, right? So still I am able to call from the object. So here lambda expression is the one way to just pass the code. What code you want to run? This is the your input parameter. This is your output. This is the complete code. Here complete method definition you can write, right?
So this is the output you want.
Right. This is the output here. Like this is the method. When someone called test, what I want to output. This is my output, right?
Right.
Similarly, here say कि this is my interface. I am called test. I want to output uh, this test method call from the lambda expression and multiply by 100. Okay, right? So this is
Right.
the output you want. This is the whenever someone say कि this is my interface and call test method and you can test, right? This is the call, right? Different implementers, right? So even the till now we have understand. Let's again same static void call, and let's this is my interface. This is my interface, right? Object. My interface object, and here I call my interface object dot test method and pass whatever the someone pass value like let's integer value. What value I pass? I pass value whatever the value, right? So what I am saying, if someone call me, they pass me the one object of my interface, right? So let's I comment out here all the things, right? I comment it out. All the things I'm not calling the test method anyway, right? I commented all the tests, right? So now I am going to call this method. Here they take a two input parameter. One is my interface object. That means what is my interface object? One way. I have created the class, right? This is my object, right? I
Right.
can say I am going to call this is the implementation class and I want to output 5 value. So you run this class, this interface going to call test method with input 5, right? Notice 5 multiplied by 10. 10. Why say 10? Notice why here output 10? Because in this object, what is the object you are passing? Object passing this, right? This have a
Mm.
class. This class have given the test method. Multiply by 2. Okay? Here they multiply by 2, right? Right? Here they multiply by 2, they return.
Yeah.
And good that this is the one way. And I can say call this interface, but I have also passed the my anonymous object, right? Anonymous object. Anonymous object I am multiply by 3, right? I'm printing, right?
Right.
So I'm say call this method, pass the value 3. So now this interface can be called from this complete class or an anonymous object, right? Here say rename. This is the class object, right? My interface class object. Okay. Oh, I'm just say this is the my class object. One object. Interface my class object. One with the give the symbolical name. This is the anonymous object, right? My interface anonymous class object. Anonymous class object, right?
Hmm.
Variable name makes some sense, right? So here I can pass second implementation anonymous class object, right? And if you run this test class again call thus implementation, right? Notice multiply by 3 9, right? Because we are passing here like a 3. Similarly, third options you can pass using my lambda expression object, my interface lambda expression object, interface lambda expression lambda expression. Okay, my lambda expression. That's one. Lambda expression 1, and he say ki multiply by 4 output, right?
Right.
Here I did a multiply by 4, right? This is the one implementation. Or this is the one. And you can call this comma let's keep our 4. So this one I pass, one this means multiply by 4. This is the output they print, right? So here notice this test method is called depend upon which object you pass, right?
Right.
Right? They've written so string. And even I can let's give this 4, okay? 4. And here say ki I am just multiply by 101, right? So you can call here, call my interface of 4. Let's pass the 5, okay? So our here objective ki this interface have only one abstract method and those test method. Test method can be implemented by the different places, different way, right?
Right.
Even good thing you can call here, call even this is the interface and you can pass here value like a 9, but here you can pass complete lambda expression. Here pass, right? Lambda expression and x, and here say s out dot println x equal to just plus x, whatever the value, right?
Right.
Even you can do this. Even I'm not written any variable name, right? Even I can pass complete code here. Let's say multiply by 10, example, multiply by 10. So whatever multiply by 10 they return, right? So here I'm not going to create any kind of class object, anonymous object, a regular expression. Even I can pass complete code. This is the code. This is the code, right? This is the code. Same code I can pass here as well as. And this code is passed to this interface object and they can call the test. And it is worse. So notice it works, right? You can pass here, I can pass 9. 9 multiplied by 10, 19, right? So this test method, one single object method can be implemented different way using the class, using anonymous class, using lambda expression, or
Right.
directly pass the lambda expression inside a method itself code. You can pass them complete here. Notice this method call expecting you pass the my interface object, right?
Hmm.
But here you can pass complete lambda expression as a, right? This is.
Hmm.
Right.
So this is the beauty of lambda expression. I cannot going to write any variable name, or you cannot going to write an anonymous class, or even not going to write a class. Even you can call this abstract method test. I'm calling this test method, right? So this is the very, very popular way nowadays to calling this code as a lambda expression, right?
Yeah.
This need lots of practice. Do practice, and we will discuss. So notice here, in this code, I am calling this method and passing. So what is this role of this interface? This just role of interface while someone going to call. Whenever someone going to call, that time this interface use. So this single object method, Java already provided some list of functional interface for us. Okay. You notice here I'm what writing? I'm passing some input and returning nothing. Printing some output, right?
Right.
So for couple of classes, we are going to do lots of exercise with respect to the lambda expression, because for
Sure.
lambda expression, Java already given some set of inbuilt functional interface. Functional
Hmm.
interface means the interface that have a only single abstract method, right?
Java already provided.
Uh, Ja-
Already provided.
Java already provided a list of functional interface which really needed
Hmm.
for one single abstract method. Generally,
Yeah.
one single abstract method, what's the possible? If you're writing one method, what is the possible combination? One method can return nothing or can return value, right? Or
Right.
can take input or cannot take input, right? Three,
That's right.
four, five possible combination can be. So for that, Java is standard already provide the set of functional interface, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So those things we are going to explore in couple of classes, right? But nowadays we are slowly moving to the code should be more concise and give our output, right?
Right.
So this line of code and complete this code is the same. You write this class and again create the object and call this method, right? This two line, right? And
Mm.
this two line. All the things we can just combine in a one line. Just lambda expression. This is my input, this is my output one. So this is the lambda expression. Lambda expression, just nothing, just implementation of one single abstract method, right?
Right. Right.
But in your application, sometime you not your interface can be needed two abstract method, three abstract method. So in this case, we have only two options: abstract class and anonymous class. Lambda expression is not work for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lambda expression is only work for the single abstract method approach.
Hmm.
This is the, you can say, limitation of lambda expression.
But that's how it works.
That's how it's designed. Yes. Now say lambda expression designer say if you want to two abstract method, you can create a two interface, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You
So
can create
separate. It
separate
works
interface.
separately. Yeah.
Just comment out. Just here you do. It's okay, right? Interface. You can create another interface, right?
Right. Right.
Why going inside one interface? You can create multiple method. And
Right.
this is the one of a software design principle. Our interface as small. That means at least one abstract method. So that this is the specific purpose, right? Specific purpose are the things good instead of the one thing can do multiple things, right? So now this is the one specialized form of interface. This interface is just for one abstract method, right? This interface just for another abstract method, right? This is the approach. If someone want to create the multiple abstract method, the Java designer says, let's you create the multiple interface. Why in one interface we are going to create a multiple abstract method? Is it okay?
Yeah.
So any doubt, any confusion with respect to this lambda expression? This is a very buzzword, but this lambda expression concept is not the new. You know, whenever in our school, college, we have studied lambda calculus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
That same lambda calculus in other programming language are introduced before than Java. Java 8 introduces this concept lambda expression in programming language. But this is not the new things. This is the same as a lambda calculus,
Mm.
right? So this is not a new thing, but today we are learning, so look like a new thing, right?
Yeah.
But nowadays applications are highly built using this concept, lambda expression. Nowadays, we are generally avoid to write lots of class and method and implementation. There is no
Oh,
any
so
kind of
so
there
this
is
is
no
popular. This is
popular.
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 Okay.
Look, there is no new keyword, no class keyword, no interface, no implement, right? Just we write a code what you want, right?
Mhm.
This is my input, this is my output. What? Right?
Right.
So there are lots of less syntax, let's verbose code, right? Okay. So lots of features we are going to lots of advantage disadvantage about the lambda expression we are going to cover in the further classes. But initially approach just thinks lambda expression is nothing, just implementation, a business logics of your single abstract method. And notice single abstract method only defined inside an interface or inside an abstract class.
Hmm.
Okay,
Right.
Okay.
good. So for today class, any question left? Are we are good?
Yeah, I'm gonna review that tonight.
Hmm.
All of this
Yes.
and and compile some questions. Maybe
Sure.
that will help.
Okay. So this is the complete runtime polymorphism. Notice we call the call method. What test method give the output? We are not know. Depend upon what object you
Right.
call. Calling the test method here. What is the output of test? We don't know because this test method from the your abstract class. So what is the
Right.
output of what kind of object you pass here in the call? In the call method, you can pass implementation class, anonymous class, what, right?
Right.
Accordingly, they can give the output.
Right.
Okay, so it's good. Take code and understand any doubt, confusion, note we'll discuss, right?
We're gonna have a lot of questions.
What ask? No,
I no. I said I will have many
sure.
questions after I review.
Yes, sure. Why not? Why not? Surely, I'm very happy to discuss, right? Discussions concept would be clear for me and you, right?
Right.
Okay. So we can close the call if no
Yes.
any further
Yes. Yes.
question.
No problem.
No.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Ajay, for the time today.
you, Ajay.